he would talk to them in a way that you don't really hear people talk to women these days.
Please.
And you women are acting just like so many women who get upset. You have little to no information. You're not willing to do the work.
She will roast them, basically.
Essentially,
Yeah.
he wasn't politically correct. He was very direct, and it was like brutal honesty.
I find it funny that women like yourself, baby mamas, all of a sudden want to get stingy with the puss after you done gave your womb up before a ring.
There's a man that goes by the name of Kevin Samuels. If you're living under a rock, go look him up. He is one of the biggest or fastest growing YouTubers in the last, at least since the pandemic. Is that fair to say, Ola?
Yes, it's yeah. I definitely since the beginning of last year, 2021.
Yes.
He blew all the hot cylinders open.
Yeah.
Early last year, early 2021.
Yeah, and he recently died. Really, really tragic. Mm-hmm. But for those that don't know, just kind of like his background was, he had started out as like a fashion / style consultant, and he used to do the YouTube videos, and then he kind of got into the relationship advice, the relationship consultant thing. And during the pandemic, there was something unique that happened. All of us were home, right? We're all home, couldn't go out, and a lot of people realized how lonely they were. So there were a lot more people watching YouTube videos.
Correct.
And of course, a lot of people that were lonely were also looking for like relationship advice. Mm-hmm. And Kevin Samuels was one of those guys that had been giving relationship advice.
Yes.
He started also giving women advice on, and his wasn't necessarily how to maintain a relationship. His was more so how to get into a relationship, or at least kind of like how to get started and optimize your chances of finding a meaningful relationship.
Right.
And I think what happened was that he saw that there was something going on within the Black community in the United States where relationships weren't working, and you had different people with all these different standards. Like he would bring women on and interview them, and you would notice that they had all these standards. Sometimes you consider them to be kind of unrealistic standards, who he was talking to.
Yep. And
he had this, it was a very unique approach. It was, people think he was being mean just to be mean. It was, there was a system to the madness. It was shock therapy. It was where he would be very, very direct with you, and depending on the energy the women gave him, if he sensed any kind of slight disrespect, he turned that energy to them, and he would talk to them in a way that you don't really hear people talk to women these days.
Please.
And you women are acting just like so many women who get upset. You have little to no information. You're not willing to do the work.
She will roast them, basically.
Essentially, he wasn't politically correct. He was very direct, and it was like brutal honesty.
I find it funny that women like yourself, baby mamas, all of a sudden want to get stingy with the puss after you done gave your womb up before a ring.
Yep.
He always said it was almost to kind of like give them a jolt, like to shock them into reality. Like, hey, here's what's going on, but it was really important because I think it underlines how he always talked about how as humans we need each other. We can't do this whole independent, we want to be by ourselves things. We're not necessarily built like that, which I really do agree with. I don't think as creatures, we're not really built to be by ourselves like that. I think we need some level of companionship, something. And during the pandemic was when I think people realized just how lonely they were. So there was this one video that went viral where he was very brash to this lady, and he was like, look, you're average at best. Remember the average at best video?
I just wanted some advice. I love your
I'm giving you advice, but you're not taking it. The advice is, ma'am, you're average looking at best.
He blew up. People were like, what? Why would you talk to her like that?
That's the video that brought me on his radar.
Yep. And it was always the same thing. People will always be like, well, yeah, I guess he's kind of saying the truth, but it's how he's saying it. It's delivery. It's his tone. And people would try to tone police, like maybe he can deliver that message in a better way. And it's like, he would come back and say, well, the other people that are delivering that message, what are the results that they're getting? And I'm explaining this to, because people hear Kevin Samuels and they kind of like, they cringe automatically. They have all these assumptions about him, and I'm not saying he's a perfect man, but there was like I said, there was a method to his madness. It wasn't just to be mean for mean's sake. And unfortunately, fortunately for him, his channel grew after the pandemic. He had over 1 million subscribers. I started following him when he was like at 500,000, and I saw this guy rise through the pandemic. And there was a time when his live shows, right? Like he'd be getting 20,000 viewers a night. That's not normal. That is unprecedented. And this was for someone that was, you would think women hated, but women kept calling. It was almost like, go though, please, don't forget to please hit that subscribe button right there on the Smiling Sufferer Network page. Hit the bell. Make sure you hit the bell for a notification.